Anil Antony, Rahul Gandhi said that he sought a constructive debate with the government on the NEET paper leak. He wasn't permitted. He's urged the Prime Minister to join this debate in Parliament. The government, sir, stands accused of stifling the opposition's voice in Parliament.
Thank you, Gaurav. It's great to be in your show again. See, it is only 4 days since this Parliament session has started. And in this 4 days itself, a lot of narrations that were created by the opposition regarding the weakness of any possible weakness of the government when compared to our last 2 terms, or any narration regarding the unity or harmony, or even a more meaningful opposition, it has all been proven wrong just in the last 4 days itself. The first 3 days itself, the Congress and the India Alliance members, they showed very clearly that they have very little regard for democratic practices, nor our democratic traditions, the manner they were against the resolution of the emergency. And they also showed that they have very little regard for our civilizational ethos also, the manner some of them were actually against the Sengolists. And now today the NEET issue was raised. So in this NEET issue itself, let us look at the realities. This is something which is definitely a concerning issue for the whole country. It is a disappointing issue. But within 3-4 days, have we ever seen a government in India's history that has actually taken this kind of actions when something concerning happened? Like within the first few hours, the person who is responsible for it, the DG who was in charge of the National Testing Authority, he was removed. A new person was brought in. A CBI inquiry is already on. And alongside that, within a few days, 2-3 days, to ensure that these kind of things don't happen again, a bill has been drafted, a educational bill to ensure that these kind of things don't happen. A high-level committee, which is headed by somebody of the stature of a former ISRO chairperson, has been created. So there has been very solid action. Now you look at our opposition, you look at our opposition states. In the last few years, in almost every single opposition states where there is a governance, where they are governing, from West Bengal to Rajasthan, there had been leaks. There had been.
So why not discuss this in Parliament? The point is, the opposition wants a discussion in Parliament. The government stands accused of shying away from it. But Rashid Kidwai, the government insists they're not running away from a discussion. They're accusing the opposition of holding the House to ransom because they're saying that there's a decorum, there is a norm. First, the discussion on the presidential address, and then the NEET discussion. Is there merit in the government saying it's the opposition that's being obstructionist, sir?
Gaurav, I think this is a real test after the Lok Sabha election. Now that opposition thinks that they have, adequate numbers, they want to assert and they want to test government. The speaker, to my mind, has a point when he says that during the presidential address, all these things can be talked about. In fact, there was a complaint that, the president who speaks on behalf of the government did not talk about, at length about NEET and all this, paper leaks, etc. Now they have an opportunity, but I think this is more of a procedural wrangling. They want to test water. They want to be far more assertive to the discomfort of the government, and government also doesn't want to yield. So this is the kind of war of attrition that is going to go, and this is waiting for this time to go, because then after Monday there'll be only 2 days before it goes for recession.
Okay, so, perhaps the opposition wants to see who blinks first. Rajat Sethi, NEET is an issue that's impacted lakhs of students. Mallikarjun Kharge has written saying that there have been 70 paper leaks in 7 years. So that's the reason, since it's an issue that impacts lakhs, they're seeking a discussion under Rule 267, suspend all other agenda if the chairman agrees, and then discuss NEET on top priority. Shouldn't NEET remain top priority or be the top priority, sir?
So it is correct that over the past 7 years, there have been more than 70 central exam cancellations. It is also true that more than around 2 crore students have been impacted because of these leaks. Where I disagree with my friend Anil is, though the government has done a lot, it has still, it is a delayed action because most of the NEET exam that happened between the election cycle affected the students for a fairly long time. It is only when it went public, we saw the outrage coming onto the streets. government will have to do a lot more to induce confidence among the common students who are appearing. We know that NEET PG has been cancelled, and there is no view as to when it is going to be conducted and how soon the NEET UG proceedings would be ensured. Whether there'll be a retest or not, we don't know what the government's position would be. So
But my point precisely remains, why not discuss all this in the parliament?
Absolutely. I think where government is coming from is that there are certain rules and procedures in which you can actually go out and debate. They said that the speaker's thanks motion is there. Thereafter, there will be a presidential thanks motion as well. You can raise, because the Honorable President did raise the topic of NEET and the examinations in India. Therefore, what the Speaker of the House of the Lok Sabha said, that you can actually raise this issue in the address on the thanks motion to the President. But here, for the past 10 years, we've seen very, very productive Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. I don't see that productivity in the Parliament will carry on anymore. Every single confrontational path would be zoomed in, and you would want to see you would ideally not want to see a lot of opposition leaders coming into the well. But sadly, the era that we've gotten into, the next 5 years, you will see very low productivity of the parliament, very little consensus.
Well, you had the LOP in Rajya Sabha in the well of the House.
Yes, so that is what, I mean.
Let me bring in Kanchan Yadav for more on this. Madam, the President in her address promised a fair investigation. The President in her address promised strict punishment for the culprits, for the guilty, and also major reforms. That process, the government says, is underway. Ma'am, why is the opposition unwilling to discuss the presidential address and in it raise the NEET issue as suggested by the Speaker in Lok Sabha?
See, this is very simple. Let's not complicate it. Today in the parliament, we were just demanding a single specific day to discuss the future of our nation, to discuss the life of 2.4 million students who appeared in the NEET examination. This was just a single request. But what has happened? The mic of leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha and the mic of leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha was turned off. One hand, government says that we want a constructive discussion, we want a constructive debate, we are very serious about paper leak, we are very serious about our future, we are very serious about youth of our nation. But when we are talking about the NEET issue and paper leak and demanding a single specific day, then what objection did the government have to that? We don't know.
So is the opposition demanding the discussion that it should happen immediately, or it can happen after the presidential address? Because the government is saying, let the discussion on presidential address happen, then you have a discussion on NEET.
No. See, the problem is this, our education minister, still he is not accepting that paper is leaked. Paper leak has happened in Bihar, paper leak has happened in Jharkhand, in Maharashtra, in Haryana, in Godhra. But he is still not using the term scam or leak. This and when he can cancel the exam of UGC NET, why he is not cancelling the exam of NEET? Why he is hesitating to cancel the NEET exam